But you know what's funny, Glenn? Before we prepped to start recording, I put on cologne.
For me?
No, I don't know.
For me?
I felt like I had to put on cologne. It's like, what are they going to smell me while I'm talking to them on the internet? I started laughing. I'm like, why am I putting on cologne? Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone, and welcome to the Giulio Show. Hey, how's everyone doing today? I love my little, what do you call it? Box here. My little box. I love my little box. Stop it. Okay, stop it. No, stop it. All right, we'll play with those later. Anyway, welcome back to the Giulio Show. Last week was our first week back in a very long time. So Glenn and I are happy to be back on and doing some stuff. And I think last week my ADHD double HD kicked in. I don't know if yours did while you were watching, but we wanted to share so much information. We couldn't even finish a sentence. I mean, we just bounced all over the place, but I think there was a good, clear message on procrastination. Would you say, Glenn? Did you get a lot out of that while you were?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Even re-editing. I mean, I'm the worst to look at myself and try to judge our show because I'm always going to hate everything I do. Because you're looking at yourself, you're hearing yourself, you're like, you sound like a jerk. You're squatty. You look chubby on the camera. I mean, judging, not that I have this bad complex, and I have body dysmorphia, they call it.
Dysmorphia?
I don't even know how to pronounce
your
it.
body
but I have it.
Your body morphs.
My body
into a
morphs in a miss way. Yes. But anyway, it's hard when you have to look at yourself or hear yourself.
Yeah.
But procrastination, even in recording myself, when I had to do videos to send in, I used to procrastinate on that a lot. Because why? I hated looking at myself, but I had to get over that and get it done. And, sometimes you get your best friends to help you out and say, what do you guys think? And they give you a true feedback. Hopefully they will, if they're really good friends. But anyway, just to recap a little bit of last week. And before we do, Glenn, anything exciting happened to you in this week before we came in?
No.
You live an exciting life, obviously.
Yeah.
I had a lot of stuff happen. Can't discuss it because they're all legal matters.
Have you just discussed it?
Just pay your taxes, okay? Don't forget. April 15 is coming up. I think a few years ago, I forgot 1 year. Oops. And they will come after you. So don't forget, April 15 is coming. Get them done. Don't procrastinate. It's amazing how people that used to get taxes now are paying taxes. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of people. That's what's gone on this week. I've been talking to a lot of people that used to get a refund and look forward to it every year. Now, they haven't made any more. They haven't made any less, but now they're paying.
Yeah.
Like $2,000 rather than getting $2,000 back.
Yeah. What is refund?
Yeah, they used to use it for vacation. They used to go somewhere with it or pay something with it. But now you can't rely on even getting that back. And I'll tell you this, even though you owe $5, $10, $100, or even $1,000, don't file late and don't ignore paying, because that 1,000 or that 100 will turn into multi-thousands, hundreds of thousands. Yeah. And the IRS has no pity. You can claim bankruptcy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count with the IRS.
No, they don't care.
They do not care. They don't care if you have a child that you got to feed. Like the electric, right? The electric company won't turn off your power if you have a pet or if you have a child to feed, right? They have some pity.
Right.
Not the IRS.
No.
You could tell them you have a child or you have somebody ill in the house. They don't care. They will levy, clean out, and shut you down.
Yeah, they don't care.
But young Biden can still get away with it. I want to be in the same cell block
Young
as
Biden.
him.
You say young Biden?
Young Biden Jr.
Little Biden.
Oh my God. I mean, we can go on forever about that.
Let's do it.
But listen, he gets away with, oh, but he did drugs. So did I. Back in the 80s, but that's no excuse. They still want me to pay. I guess he's facing some legal charges, but my God, they don't levy everything he's got and this and that. And at least I didn't spend hundreds of thousands on prostitutes, ATM. Do you realize he took 1 point something million in 1 year out of ATMs?
Oh my God.
I mean, what do you need? Well, I know what he was buying with it, but holy crap.
People are pissed off because you get people that play by the rules. They do everything they're supposed to do, and they make one little mistake, and then the IRS goes after middle class people. The IRS goes after them, and
there is going to be no more middle
bust
class.
Their ass. No, there isn't. But that's what people get so pissed off, because it's like, I made one little tiny mistake with my withholding or whatever, and now the IRS is just beating me.
Well, they make it impossible because it is below the limit, but by the time they get done with interest and penalties, they nail it's like 2 or 3. It's worse than borrowing from a loan shark.
But the thing is the people, the people that get away with everything are the ones that are like Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is all these guys, these rich guys, the guys who actually break the law, and they keep doing it because they know, because daddy is whoever.
But I'm rich. I run a multi-$100 corporation.
You're not supposed to say you're rich.
Yes, I am. I run a multi-$100 corporation.
Yeah, there you go.
I said it once and I'll say it again. Listen, on paper, I might look good, but in the bank, believe me, by the time you get done with taxes and everything like that, you're really left with nothing. As an entrepreneur,
you hear that, ladies? He's broke.
As an entrepreneur, you take on all the risks. And let me tell you, after COVID, it was hard keeping up with business. And we had to keep people working. We wanted to make sure their families were fed. We wanted to make sure they had a paycheck. Unfortunately, we had to furlough some people, because the economy just stopped.
Yeah.
And everything stopped, but the rents didn't, the energy bills didn't. I mean, we were still getting bills. Yeah. So you were, robbing from Peter to pay Paul and robbing from Mary to pay Peter. I mean, it's crazy. So you had to kind of miss some things or be late on some things, but God forbid it would be with the IRS. And you're right. Hunter Biden has, they're just delaying it and playing stupid with it. But all these people that are out there who, like you said, are doing their best, and that's you, to do what they can. The IRS makes it impossible because they just keep nailing you with interest and penalties. So it's hard for you to catch up on the basis based on your income.
Yeah. Because
they rather you end up with nothing in your pocket, no food in your mouth. And, some of us can use less food. But here's the thing. I just think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Call the cops on the IRS? What are you going to call the lawyer? Yeah. They're their own entity. They can do whatever they please. And it's like going back to the old Roman days when Caesar taxed everybody.
It just feels like they're always picking on the little guy. That's what really gets me. It's like, man, come on. I'm not, and look, I'm not one of those, hey, tax the rich more. I'm not one of those people where they got to pay their fair. They do pay their fair share.
No, listen,
rich people pay a lot of money. So I'm not one of those people that's like, you should tax them more. But when it comes to the little guy, when it comes to the middle class, I'm not saying necessarily tax them less, but I mean, I technically think you should tax them less, but don't.
Even people that are struggling, the poor class.
Yeah, but see, the lower class gets more. It's the middle class that really suffers.
Well, there's going to be no
lower
middle class
so and the upper class. They're just fine because the lower class gets government assistance. They don't get hit as hard because the government still wants them to keep.
Well, the middle class pays for the rich and the poor.
Right, but they don't pay for the middle.
But here's what bothers me.
Has to
I
work
don't
for
mind
every
helping American citizens, but when I'm giving all these tax dollars that they're penalizing me for, or these people for, I'm all about paying taxes. You got to support your country. I believe that, but they're spending money.
I believe in paying taxes.
Well, you know what? They're spending money like there is no. They're just printing it. Okay, they're spending it, and
Yeah, I
they're
know.
giving it to illegal aliens, not our veterans. Our veterans have to count on like Tunnel to Tower or Gary Sinise or other outside entities to take care of people who fought for our country.
Right.
Okay, but they don't get a swag bag. They don't get an iPhone. They don't get room and board. They don't get their medicals. I mean, for them to get their medical, it's been a fight and a struggle. Yet,
Yeah.
an illegal alien can cross this border
Yeah.
and get more benefits than somebody that got their legs blown off or their arms blown off or gave themselves up for our
I
country
know.
and maybe died for our country, and their
I
families
know.
don't even get anything. So this is what pisses me off about the IRS and the government and how they spend money. Hopefully we'll see some changes in 2024. People, get out there and vote and stop the ignorance. You may not like the rhetoric. How do you say that? Rhetoric?
Rhetoric, you got it.
Rhetoric of
Not
maybe
rhetoric.
red
rum.
rhetoric.
Rhetoric.
Well, you might not like the way one politician speaks, but
Yeah.
you know what? Can they run a country? Can they
Right.
protect the American people?
Right.
Can they get the economy lower?
Right.
Can they get us back on track? You know what I really love the most? Well, let me finish this. Okay, don't vote because you just hate the name of that person or you hate the color of their hair, and you leave somebody in that doesn't know what their name is
I
or where
wonder
they
who you're
are.
talking about.
I'm not going to give names like Biden or Trump, but they're only two running. You're going to vote for one or two of them. But what I'm saying is, whoever you pick, that's your choice. However, remember, whoever you pick, that's what you end up with. And let's look at the last 4 years. And people are saying, well, that's because of the Trump era. No, it isn't. It started way before that, and it was getting better. And then it look, all that's happened, guys. Just look at it. Do your best. Vote your best. I'm not telling you how to vote, but don't vote on because you don't like somebody's hair or you don't like their face, or vote on the policy that matters to you.
Gee, I wonder who you're voting for.
I'm voting for me and the American people.
You can write yourself in.
Actually, I'm not going to say who I'm voting for. I might even surprise you.
I think if your audience has half a brain, they know who you're voting for.
And I'm not even Republican. I'm just whoever can get the friggin' job done. That's what I'm for. And when you got two choices, pick the best out of the two.
The Rock.
How about somebody that at least is cognate? And I feel bad for Joe Biden because the man is got some dementia, and he you know, you can't blame him. Blame the people that are pushing him to do this. But I don't care if it was two other candidates. You're going to have two. Out of the two, what do you believe in? What do you stand up for? Use your voice for that. Don't no matter what president is in there, none of them is going to be a dictator. The people won't allow it. They won't. No president wants nuclear war because that'd be the end of them and the end of the world. All these things that nobody wants to get rid of Social Security. Some people want it to be a socialist country. Some people want it to be a communist country. Some people want it to be a free country. So some people want abortion. Some people don't. What do you believe in? And that's what you vote for. Don't vote for what color suit they're wearing, what tie. Are they cute? Are they charismatic? Can they get the friggin' job done? Are they white? Are they black? Are they Hispanic? Are they Asian? None of that matters. Everybody has a heart and the same blood red. Okay. What matters is what they can do. So anyway, moving on, because I can go on with politics all day long, and there's a lot of things to be frustrated with, because you know what? I have an 8-month-old daughter, and I have boys that are 27 and 20 and 30. I mean, they're caught up in this world now. But when my daughter gets older, I'm going to homeschool her, by the way. We're not sending her to this woke schools, and I don't care what school you send her to, whether private or whatever. Everybody's just gone friggin' nuts. I think she'll get more education by the real world, taking her to Egypt, or taking her to Italy, and have history class and do some excavation, teach her math, rather than how to masturbate. Really?
Whoa.
Is that what they're teaching in our schools today?
Let's
I
go
mean,
back to politics.
No, but it's stupid. I mean, what pervert came up with that as a class curriculum? And I believe some of these teachers are upset. It's not all the teachers. There's a lot of great teachers out there, and my hat's off to you. But there's a lot of craziness too. But anyway, moving on. I think I've cleared. I think I cleared my anger this morning.
Now we know you're broke, who you're voting for.
Listen, I would say all of America's broke except for all these tech guys, that own all these big platforms.
Well, those are the guys that everybody thought. Everybody thought those guys were going to be the ones that were going to come in Silicon Valley. They're young. They've got this vision, and they're going to change the world. They're going to do all this stuff. Listen, those guys are just as greedy as all these other business owners. They're no different. Zuckerberg, all those guys. What have they done, really? These guys are the richest people in the world. And really, what have they done other than just destroy the youth, destroy America?
Who do you think runs the country?
They do.
Multi-billionaires.
Right. And they've done nothing.
They tell the presidents of these countries what to do.
Sure.
Because if they don't do it, they get no more money.
Sure.
Think about that. You guys are getting mad at your president. It's not just him. It's the people. You should, but they're influenced by the people who are donating to them and then control them.
Well,
that's what they couldn't do with Trump. That's why they got him. They couldn't control him.
Well, you need a president that's going to stand up to these guys because, the way that, again, here's what I don't understand. This is something that I've always talked about for years. I don't understand why these guys, like, these people are, I mean, combined is just trillions of dollars. Why aren't any of these people just dedicating, I mean, at least half of their worth to, curing diseases, something? It's like you people
no, they are, but they're also.
Are they?
Yes, but they're.
I don't think so.
Yeah. They are, but they're also creating them because then they create the vaccines for them as well. That's how they're making billions of dollars. Some of these people own pharmaceutical.
Yeah, but they're not. But they might fund some research. But I'm talking about saying, hey, look, we're gonna build an island. We're gonna pick an island. We're gonna build the biggest research facility on there. We're gonna get the best minds in the world to go and just.
That's the way it used to be.
Your only job is you are going to cure cancer, and that's what Biden ran on, by the way, was curing cancer. You're going to cure cancer, and you're going to get paid like $1 million a year. Or something
is
like
the
that.
cancer.
I mean, it's
that party is the cancer. They didn't cure it; they just grew it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean with the.
How many people are going to get pissed at this one?
Yeah, really. Let's do it. Let's.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Once again, I'm looking at the veterans. You're right. Billions of dollars are being sent to Ukraine. 50 billion. Billions of dollars are being sent to these Middle Eastern countries to try to be my friend. It's like giving the bully at lunch your money so the school bully will be your friend. So we're giving bullies money. Yeah. But the people in our own United States cannot. I mean, could you imagine if you took a little bit of all this money, all these billions going out, and you took care of your own people in the United States, how much help that would be? Mental health, veterans, homeless people. They got the money to do it. But if they keep you suppressed, they can keep you controlled.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. But what they want to do is now they want to forgive student loans again. What about all these people who paid back their loans, worked really hard? Forgive my mortgage. That would help. Yeah. How about forget my tax bill this year?
Or how about this? How about forgive the debt to all the small business owners out there who were forced to close down permanently and had to file for bankruptcy, and they lost everything, and then they're still owed taxes. How about forgiving those people? They got nothing. The small business owners who had to close, like me, who had to close my business down. I didn't, and people say all the time, oh, COVID. No, COVID didn't do it. New York State did it. New York State shut me down, and they forced me to shut down for 9 months. New York
State wasn't the only state that shut people down.
No.
I'm glad I'm in Florida.
Well, California was even worse, but New York State and California were one of the worst. Yeah. But so you forced me to shut down for 9 months, and I get nothing. And also, all the money that
you were shut down for a lot longer than we were.
Gyms were shut 9 months. Gyms were one of the last businesses to reopen in New York State. But we got nothing. I mean, I got Nothing. It was like, oh, sorry, you closed. Okay. And it was it. I got nothing from the government. No forgiveness, no tax forgiveness,
Listen,
no
I
nothing. I still
believe
owed everything.
I'm going to be a conspiracy guy.
Here we
I
go.
believe COVID was planned to restructure the minds and the world and the workplace of people.
Holy shit, you're gonna get.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna
Because I'll
clip
tell
that.
you
I'm gonna
what,
make that a short. You're gonna get all the.
I'll tell you what, I think this is what they do. They divert you in many ways to take your focus off of other things. COVID is a flu. Yes, it was killing a lot of people. That's because the government have been killing people for a very long time.
I'm gonna put a digital aluminum foil hat on your head when you're saying this, and make you look like a
I'm gonna
Hershey's
have,
Kiss.
Watch. I'm gonna have
Oh
the
my
FBI
God.
at my door and everything.
Holy,
Listen,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
just
really,
my,
just when you're the IRS.
this is my,
I think the IRS.
just my opinion, and everybody has the right to an opinion and have the right to your First Amendment. And I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying I believe everything happens not on accident.
For
Okay.
a reason.
Yeah, and there's an agenda behind it, and we're all paying that agenda. Not all of us. There are people that will never know what it's like not to have. They got people that want to dismantle the police have enough money to have private security. So
Right,
you
yeah.
go explain that to me.
And they have walls around their house too.
And they have walls around their
Yeah.
house, and they have private security, but they want to defund us from being protected from the local. I don't get it. So
Yeah.
anyway, listen. Last week we talked about
For the
procrastination.
For the record, I disagree about the COVID thing, but
for the record, he's lying because he's afraid to get like
no, not
FBI
no.
in there.
I genuinely don't.
Well, I
just
believe it
think
came out of China. I do believe it came from
I think it came.
Wuhan.
I think
Wuhan.
Wuhan. Wuhan.
Wuhan.
I think it. What do you Busta Rhymes? But I think it came from the lab. It definitely came from the lab.
It did.
But I don't think it was on I think we were just very negligent. We were negligent with the lab.
Who owns that
but
lab?
I think we were negligent with
who owns that lab. And
Busta
look how
Rhymes.
bad Fauci lied to us.
Oh,
and I used to love that guy. That guy was a scam artist of his own.
They mishandled that so badly.
He's not
and
Italian.
Not even close. It was he ain't real. He's been
demoted from the Italian community.
He's been shunned from the Italian. Mama Bianca won't be making anything for him,
and he's definitely not from Northern Africa, Egyptian, or Middle Eastern. He's just a greedy man. But anyway, what were we talking about? What we talked about last week?
Yeah, right.
Boy, I'll tell you,
we were talking about what we were doing right now.
God, listen,
procrastination.
It's hard not to talk about this stuff when it's smacking you in the face every day, and especially as we get closer to election. Guys, I'm going to warn you: it's gonna get ugly, it's gonna get nasty, it's gonna get dirty. There's gonna be a lot of lies out there.
Nasty boy.
Listen, don't get your news just from TikTok or Instagram. Do some research, do some history lessons. Look up. It's just going to get a lot of lies. It's going to get real nasty. Do the best that you can, and don't let it affect you mentally. Listen, I know economically it is affecting us, but let's hope somebody will get in there and help us through this, whether it be Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't give a shit, but just help us be able to feed our families, pay our bills, and help these poor people that have lost everything from the COVID, from family members, friends, suicide because of that, mental health. I mean, just let's start to repair. Forget yesterday. I'm going to forget yesterday, and let's focus on how we can work for the future, whatever that takes. But we got to look forward. We can learn from yesterday, but we need to work on today and tomorrow, and especially the moment that we're in. And that's why I tell people always enjoy the moment you are in. And if you're in a moment like we talked about last week where you've been procrastinating, it's caused a lot of stress and anxiety. Hey, let's recap of what we talked about, some solutions. Glenn will bring up for you the wine press. Just we'll recap that wine press. And if you look at it, on the top of that wine press is what all filters in your bills. Maybe you got to go to the doctor, you got to take the kids here, or you got to go to a baseball game. I mean, everything that is piling up that has caused you anxiety and pain things that you've been holding off for a long time, things that you got to do, and throw them all into that wine press. And as you squeeze all that stuff down, and on the left side, you'll see that what comes out that needs to be urgent, what has to happen now. And in the middle will be everything's important, right? But there's urgent things, meaning it's important to get some things done. But if I don't pay my bill today, my light bill or my car or whatever, it's going to get repossessed, or my lights are going to get turned on. Or if I don't pay my IRS bill, oops, they're going to take it out of my account, whatever it may be. That's urgent, right? I got to file my taxes today, April 15th, file it, right? That's urgent. Then the important stuff we know will move as we finish the urgent things, whether it be one or two things. You'd be surprised how much you can get done in one day. And then the nice to do's, there's a lot of nice to do. I got to paint the porch, or, I got to do this. It's not urgent. The porch isn't going to fall apart. It just needs a little painting. So we can do that later on. That doesn't take the place of something that's urgent. Now, understand that when you think you've got your urgent all in place, you're hitting that urgent list, something might interfere. Something might happen. You might get a call that one of your family members went to the hospital, something, or somebody got hurt. I don't know what, but something is going to interrupt your flow. That's okay. Take care of that important matter, because that has now taken priority in the urgent. Like I said, if somebody ends up in a hospital, cuts their finger off, or all of a sudden you got a call that if you don't get this in the post office right now and it doesn't get mailed out with today's stamp for the taxes, I keep going back to that. But if it doesn't have April 15, I've got it. It takes that place. Then you can go back to that urgent list. But things will interrupt you. Trust me. When you think you've got a flow going, is when people start to bug you. And you heard me say it before. Nothing happens all day long till you start to do something. And when you start to do something is when procrastination is lurking in the shadows, waiting to destroy your day.
Just like the IRS.
Well, not even that. Think about this. People even told me when I've always been a man of faith. Okay. But they told me, when you start writing this book that you're writing, Illuminating the Path, and when I wrote a few other books, one is a leadership according to the Apostle John, and a couple other ones. They said, when you start doing faith-based books, watch how many things come at you on the dark side. And I'm like, get out of here. You don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Believe it or not, it's true. Now, what I'll tell you is when you stop procrastinating, you're about to start doing things, people will start entering your life again and try to pull you away from it. If you decide you're going to go to the gym at 8 o'clock every morning, something will interfere, whatever the time you picked, will come in and say, well, no, we need to get this done. No, we need to get, all of a sudden, things just come out of the blue. Phone calls, meetings, people try to disrupt your flow. I don't know why. I don't know if they know we're doing it, or if it's just out there. You know how they say you're putting it out there and they can feel you're doing it. Do you ever feel that way, Glenn?
Yeah, when I'm in the bathroom taking a number 2 and someone knocks on the door. Hey, get out of there.
Well, you are number 2 and I'm number 1. No, it's true. Even if you go to the restroom and you go to take a break, that's when your phone rings. Think about it.
Yeah.
It hasn't rung and you're like, oh, well, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. Yeah. And it's funny when you're at airports and everything and you hear people are sitting on the toilet and you hear them in the stalls talking business on the phone. I'm like,
isn't that funny? Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. You can't even wait till you're done going to the bathroom. And anyway, I don't want to get into that discussing because you're holding that phone. Anyway, yeah, really. But listen, urgent, important, nice to do, and it keeps flowing that way. At least get a couple things done. Don't let once you start, procrastination will show its ugly head, and so will some friends, and they'll sway you into going out for drinks, or just get it done. Then you got free time to do anything, and you can do it more enjoyable.
I mean, isn't that really the key to success in general? Is prioritizing, but also organization. Right? I mean, isn't the key to being a successful person is organizing your life?
That's hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me, Glenn. You're right. It's actually organizing your life. And that's, if you go to people's house, you'll see they almost look like hoarders, but they're not. just that they
Right.
didn't get to the laundry. They didn't put their mail away. They didn't put
Right.
their food that they took out to cook for the night before. They didn't clean that up. The dishes are building up. It's not that they're dirty people. It's a lot of it has to do with depression. And the more they
Yeah.
see it and the more it builds, the more depressed they get.
Right. Right. And you get
And
that lack of motivation. Like if you have if you have an office and you organize your office, it's amazing how much more motivated you are to work in that office because it's clean. You know where everything is. You don't have to, it's like you're not in this, oh God, I got it. Because now in the back of your head, you're thinking, oh, not only am I trying to do this project, but I got all these other things in this office I have to do. And then you never get to it.
well, you know
And it
what I
makes you not
hated?
even want to work in the office anymore.
I have to admit, and a lot of you are going to say this. I don't want anybody touching anything on my desk because I know where everything is, right?
Right.
And it's all disorganized, but we know where it is, especially if you're ADD, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's how
Right.
my desk used to hate. And I hate when people straightened out my desk to try to do something nice for me.
Yeah.
Because now I can't find anything anymore. That's not true. You can. I just didn't feel like looking in that pile
Exactly.
because I
Right.
knew
Right.
exactly what pile it was under.
Right. Because what's stopping you from you organizing it? So now
Yeah.
you know where everything is if you organize it, but that's just an excuse of I don't feel like organizing.
Well, you know
it.
what's funny is because in some gurus used to say, well, anybody with a desk that's loaded with a lot of confusion means that they're successful and busy. No, it
Yeah,
means
they're a
that they're
genius.
friggin' piled up with a bunch of crap. And yes, they know where everything is, but it's still overwhelming. There's nothing better than knowing where you filed it, where you put it, go and get it. It just takes 2 seconds. I was guilty of that. I used to use that as an excuse, but now I
Yeah.
hate clutter. I
Yeah.
know everything is organized, where it is, where to get it. And you're talking to a severely
Mm,
ADHD person. I put double H in my ADHD.
yeah.
Okay. My mind is so hyper that I found that it actually helps me better to be organized. It helps
It
my
helps everybody.
ADHD.
It helps everybody.
So that is
No,
key.
I don't
You're
want
right.
nobody that again, it's just an excuse to not want to clean up. But organization helps I don't care what
The only
ailment you
problem with
have.
that is when you get organized, you go from ADHD to OCD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, they're going to put a label on everything. But listen, Glenn, you're right.
You're never gonna win. Yeah.
Organization is the key. Time management is the key. And here's the key: when you get into the first step of stop procrastinating,
Yeah.
now you got to finish what you start. Like as you started attempting to do some things, you can't do. People say I like to multitask. There's no such thing as multitask. You'll never get things done.
Mm,
I can multitask, don't get me wrong,
mm,
but am I effectively getting things done? No.
mm.
Okay. You can only, the law of the mind says you can only focus on one thing at a time. Yes, I can focus on people talking. Yes, I can focus on what's going on here. I can hear what's going on over here. That's the ADHD working or whatever you want to call it, because that's what they label it.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: if you really want to be effective, if you're talking, I'm not listening to this conversation. And because I used to do that, I would be talking to you and then answering the people. They're like, how do you do that? Well, because I'm not really listening to you. And I'm not
Mm.
really I'm just catching bits and pieces. But
Yeah.
if I really care about you, I'm going to focus in on you. It's no different than finishing something you've been procrastinating on.
Yeah.
If you really want to get it done and get it done right. So, because if you don't have time to get it done right the first time, when are you ever going to have time to get it done?
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep repeating to do it over and over again. So if you're talking, Glenn, I interrupt you a lot, but if you're talking,
Sorry, we're Italian.
I should listen to you so that I can understand you clearly. When I'm working on a project, I must finish what I started.
Yes.
Unless I have to wait to make a phone call tomorrow, at least I finished up to where I could. And the office is closed now. I got to call it tomorrow. That goes on
Mm.
tomorrow's list.
And
Okay.
knowing when to start something, knowing when to finish something, but also knowing when to put something off until later and then get to it later. Because what happens is people get sidetracked because they want to do it right now, but it's like, no, that's something you can do later. Is that
Well,
something you
that's a
have to do
nice to
right now, or
do
something you can do
or
later?
important. But right now,
Yeah.
this is urgent. I did as much as I can. Now it's 5 o'clock. Most offices are closed. So what do I got to do? I got to put this on
Yeah.
tomorrow's pile as one of my urgents to complete it,
Yeah.
unless something else comes in the way. But if what I want to do is get this totally out of the way and done properly, so
Yeah.
that I finish what I started. It's like having an argument with your spouse. or with your partner or whatever. And then you get halfway through the argument and you're like, well, let's finish this tomorrow.
Yeah, hell no. Hell no.
Which some people do. They're like, I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and they're like, no, let's talk about it tomorrow. Because why? They don't want to face the reality of what needs to be discussed or get done.
Yeah.
So it's no different than procrastinate, than the stuff that you procrastinate on. Yeah. You can't start, hey, I want to tell you how I feel, honey. I really want to express what I'm going through. And I think it's a really important conversation to have with you. But guess what? I don't have time today. So maybe tomorrow. Okay.
You're like a news channel. It's like, honey, I really want to tell you how I feel. Tune in tonight at 11.
Yeah. And tune in next week when they actually might get to the point.
Yeah. More on that at 11.
It'll be like a soap opera. Really. But no, finish what you start. Here, I wrote some things down just really quickly that I want to cover. And it's funny because now I got to refocus because we were all over the place today. So we want to finish what we start. Who's it? Rostin Sahara? Anyway, I'm about to quote somebody and I can't even say their name.
Let me see.
Yeah, what's that say?
Oh, no.
This is the part with being dyslexic. It's my handwriting. Yeah, I'm still working on that, folks. Rosin
Rashua Sharma.
Yeah, anyway, Sharma? That person, we give credit to that person, and probably 100 other thousand people said it. Yeah. But completion is not the end. It is the beginning of new endeavors. I love that. Just because you completed something, it's not the end, because now you're allowed to start a new endeavor without the pressure of the old sitting there, and you can't move forward because you didn't complete that. You didn't build the foundation before you, so now you can build a house on top of it. If you finish that foundation, I can build a house on it, but I can't build the house with no foundation. Does that make sense? I got to complete it. So I love that saying because it gives you the new endeavor to take the new step into something that you've always wanted to be achieving next. Number one, set clear goals. If you want to start something, make them achievable and reachable. We talked about that last week, whether it's losing weight or whatever. Don't make them ridiculously out of reach. Do it in a reachable. See as far as you can see. When you get there, you can see further. And I got that from Zig Ziglar. See as far as you can see. When you get there, you can see further. We have long-term goals. That's great, but you can't get there until you get to this step 1, step 2, step 3. So see as far as you can see. When you get there, if I lose 1 or 2 pounds, or I finish 2 or 3 things, then when I get there, I can see further, and I can complete more or lose more, and make the next goal 2 or 3 pounds or whatever it may be. Prioritize tasks. We talked about that. That's the funnel priority. What are the nice to do's? What are the have to do's? What did I put here? Prioritize tasks. Tax is still on my mind. I'm never going to get over this tax thing. Prioritize tasks. John Paul said it to us a long time ago when I joined Paul Mitchell in the 80s. Successful people do all the things unsuccessful people don't want to do. And I've heard that more than just John Paul. I've heard it through many mentors, is that, and what we mean by success is happy people who have no stress. We're not talking about money. People always work everything around money. Stop that. Success is happiness. Whatever you get, even if it's money, you're going to be happy, right? So the meaning of success is happy. But people who are successful and happy will do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. So they'll get up and actually go to work, which unsuccessful people don't want to do. They'll finish their tasks, which unsuccessful people don't want to do. They'll make that call or have that crucial conversation, which other people don't want to do. So the people that get it done get better results. So even people that tell me, well, I really want a relationship with God, or I want a relationship, once again, just do it. If you really want to be successful at that, dive in. You're not going to be an expert. I'm not an expert, but I'm still learning about my faith. I'm still learning about my business, my company, and I've been in the industry for 45, 46 years. If you think you know everything, you might as well hang it up. You're constantly learning, you're constantly growing. So do the things that other people won't do. So, for instance, a lot of people that have been doing what I've done for 40 something years, Glenn, they stop learning. They think now they have wisdom and knowledge, which they do, but there's new things happening. There's new technology. There's new approaches. There's new marketing. Or it's always good to revisit some of the stuff that you used to do years ago, because everything that goes around comes around, right? So constant knowledge and growing is important, and you need to keep doing that. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to sit at a computer, take an online course, or sit through a seminar. I'm not done learning. Um, I'm done learning on earth when I'm dead, and I won't be dead, by the way.
Also knowing when to learn something else too.
I like what Billy Graham says. He said, "Have you ever heard I died? It's a rumor. I'm not dead. I just changed my address."
It's because he's escaping from the IRS.
Yeah, going to heaven. But here's the thing, guys. Do the things that other people won't do, and you'll be a lot happier. And yes, oh my God, but you don't understand. I don't have time. You have time. This is what I hear all the time. I don't have time. Glenn, if right now I looked at anybody in that audience and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to send you 2 tickets," and I got this from Zig Ziglar. It was cool. "I'm going to send you 2 tickets right now, free, trip to Maui. Okay, all expenses paid, first class hotel. All your meals are paid for 10 days. You don't have to worry about a thing. Matter of fact, while you're gone, we'll even pay your bills. Okay, all taken care of. But here's the one downfall: you have to leave tomorrow at 5 a.m. to the airport, and it's already 9 p.m. at night. Or right now, let's do the show. It's 7 p.m. Right now, you probably got this at 7:30, 8 o'clock, right? Okay. You leave tomorrow morning. How much do you think you can get done? You would get everything done tonight, packing, bills, whatever was on your plate for the next 10 days, you would get done in those few hours so that you can make it by the airport tomorrow morning. I guarantee it. So what do you mean you don't have time? You have time for the things you want, not the things you have to do, but the nice to do's, not the have to do's. So don't tell me you don't have time. You can make time many ways. Okay. Even if it's a 5-minute shot at a time.
Working out, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Working out's a big one.
Take a walk to the mailbox and back. That's a start.
Yeah.
Some people open the front door, and that alone is too much for them.
Yeah.
I used to procrastinate to wanting to go to pee. Do you ever do that? Like, you have to pee so bad, but you're holding it because you got to get this, and this done. When really, if you just went, would have took a few seconds, and it would be painful.
You know what though? I hate the feeling of having a full bladder. I hate it so much. I actually get up and just go.
Not me. I'll hold it.
I can't stand.
Well, sometimes I still procrastinate because I'm like, I got to get this, I got to get that done, and
so I mean, yeah, sometimes
bad for you.
No, it is. I mean, sometimes if I'm really into something, I'll hold it because I'm like, I'll be done with this any second now, and then I'll go. But it takes me another half hour, whatever.
Well,
but like sleeping, I mean, getting up really early for me is tough to begin with. But if I have to go to the bathroom, I will get up immediately because I cannot sleep, and I hate the feeling of a full.
Dude, wait till you get my age. You'll be waking up a lot to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
and you know what? Now it depends.
Hey. Nope. Yeah, well, that too.
There you go. Yeah, now it depends. Yeah. Anyway, wait a minute.
I'll go to the right one.
Okay, let's try this. Hey, now it depends. Remember when you used to watch the shows that did that all the time? You could hear the laugh track.
Yeah, and it's like the same laugh track over and over again.
Yeah, that's what I used to do when I went out drinking, so I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I just wore the pants and I play. People were like, "Wow, you drink a lot, but you're not going to the bathroom." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Don't you have to go?" I'm like, "Depends." But anyway, I know it's corny, but I had to put it out there. Implement time management. Number 3, implement time management. So we talked about start what you finish, right? Uh, Start with set up a clear and reachable goals. Number 2, we said prioritize. Number 3, implement time management, which we talked about already. Look at your day, figure it out, maybe schedule something out where the urgents have to be done at a certain time because, offices may close at 5 or whatever. But manage your time a little bit better. You do have a lot of time. You just be surprised if you managed it better, how much time you really do have.
Mm.
And embrace accountability. Love the fact that you're accountable to get that done. Because listen, we expect people to get things done. If we want something done, we expect them to have accountability to get it done for us.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we doing the same in return for ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we got to get something done, whether it be working on your health, you are important. Listen, you are precious. You are priceless. Take care of yourself. What's it somebody say? Who was it? Stephen Covey, accountability breeds responsibility. Accountability breeds responsibility. I got to read my own writing here, and I know the sayings because I use it all the time. I got them in my book, but today I wrote it down really quickly. Stephen Covey says accountability breeds responsibility, and hopefully Glenn will be kind enough to edit some of my mistakes here. But accountability does breed responsibility. So something to think about, right? Number 5, what did we talk about last week? When you complete something, what do you got to do? Come on, Glenn. What was it? If you complete it, what do you do?
If you complete something, what do you do?
Yeah.
You whistle.
You're
free.
Hey, you celebrate.
Oh, yeah, you're free.
Celebrate good times. We're done. Okay, I'll stop. But celebrate the moments. High five yourself.
You
Let
play
people know. I know. Right?
There you go.
Nobody cares about that, my singing. But listen, celebrate what you achieved and know that, you worked hard to do it and you planned it and you got it done. Small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. I don't know who said it, but I just did. I don't know who said that quote, but I just did. So small deeds done are better than big deeds planned. So you can do all the planning you want because it's all talk. Actions speak louder than words. And so many people like, oh, I'm going to do, especially when they're drunk or if they've been sniffing white powder or something like that, they got all this ambition, right? Or these people on ADD medicine or whatever, or amphetamines. They're all like, oh my God, or they're just, I used to do this all the time. I used to get so hyper and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, they start planning all these wonderful, they got great ideas. First of all, I never wrote it down. The next day, the intention was good, but all that I got to do, I'm going to do fell apart. Yeah. So the planning had no value to it. And half of the stuff I remember because I didn't write it down. Mm-hmm. So when you think of something that you want to achieve, but sometimes, once again, are you overwhelming your stuff with the things that you want to get done, with the things that you want to do, with the things that you want to accomplish? Because you're not going to do or solve the world's problems all in one day, even yours. So pick that one thing, because when you start spewing at the mouth and vomiting all this stuff that you're going to plan, pick one of them. The most important one that you know is urgent to you and that you got to work on now. So Glenn, if you had to pick one thing right now that you would like to do, and don't be embarrassed, that you would like to get done that's urgent for you, rather than the 100 things that run through your mind, what is the first thing you would get done? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
No, I actually know exactly what to get done. I have to organize, just we were talking about earlier. I have to organize my office.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's that look like?
It's a pigsty right now. Cause I had a whole bunch of bins filled with, old memory stuff, pictures, things like that. And so I'm organizing all that stuff. I'm organizing my shelf and just getting everything so I know where everything is. And, because ever since we moved, there was a bunch of stuff I just never took out of boxes in my office. So now I'm doing that. But now that all the boxes are empty, just stuff is all over the place. So now I have to organize it. So that's my big priority right now is,
So if I heard you correctly, you have to start within your office,
yeah,
okay, where everything is just scattered because you just moved. You're emptying out boxes, but you're not going to another bedroom and emptying out boxes. Your goal right now
yeah.
is to get into that room.
Mm.
How much time are you willing to dedicate to getting that done per day?
Today, well,
Any day,
well, that's
every
not,
day.
see now I no,
When I
see,
was a kid, I could have played piano, but what happened? Go ahead.
no. Here's, I know I actually have for the past couple weekends, I've been focusing on my office. So that's my, like you said, that's your kind of nice to do.
Why are you stuttering? You're starting to sound like Porky Pig.
Right, because I just watched Porky
This is a
Pig.
good one. He's going to tell us.
Yeah.
He's going to give us an excuse.
No, it's a reason.
Okay.
It is a reason. No, I'm
alopecia.
making the weekends. It's because during the week I focus on work stuff. So I got to focus on this. I also got to focus on film threat. Yes. Focus on this. I got to focus on film threat. Those are my weekly duties, basically. And then there's my other duties.
Duties.
And then, but the weekends I'm dedicating to this because this isn't something I have to do. So I have it prioritized.
Okay.
It's
I
not
love
something
this.
I have to do during the week, but I do have to do it on the weekends because that's when I do have the time.
Okay, so let me stop you there.
Yes.
So you want to get your office cleaned.
Yeah.
Okay. You are on a crunch during the week. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So really the time where you get no phone calls, no distractions are on the weekends,
right?
Which you are now going to dedicate to organizing your office.
Right.
Okay. That's a great start. See, what I love is that you're honest with yourself. No, I'm going to do it every day for an hour. No. I got all this other shit and it's overwhelming. And yes, you probably want to relax and have a dinner or whatever. But okay, the weekend you can focus better.
Yeah.
All right. So what's that look like? Saturday or Sunday?
Both.
Or both days. Morning, afternoon, or night?
Just the day. So when I get up, we eat breakfast and then I just get right to it.
When you get up?
On the weekends we sleep in a little bit. So mid-morning.
Okay.
Around, so later I probably start late morning.
11 o'clock, late morning?
Yeah. Okay. And then I just go until we eat dinner and then I'm done.
Okay.
That's great. So I dedicate several hours to doing it. And the thing is I do it though. See, a lot of people will say, well, I'll get to it on the weekend and they don't do it. If you can say, I will start on Monday and you actually start on Monday and you're consistent, that's fine. But if you say that you're going to start on Monday or you say you're going to start on the weekend and then you don't do it, well, okay, that's different. But I'm someone who, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So when I say I'm going to do it on the weekend, I actually do it. And here's the thing, and you're probably the same way, is if you say, oh, I'm just going to dedicate an hour in this, come on. You're not just going to, you're going to start it and then you're going to go all day and then you're going to forget the work that you actually had to do.
Well, I do that for phone calls, but there's some things like writing.
Yeah. Well, if you started a project,
a book, then I might I dedicate at least an hour. And if I go a little bit more, that's fine.
But when you start doing something that's really.
So what's this look like to you? If you do this every Sunday, how long before you think getting organized in that office is going to be complete?
Oh, I think by the end of this weekend, I'll have it all done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, remember that next week's show, we are going to pressure Glenn to see if he finished what he started. Finish next weekend. All right. So here's the thing we just did. We did a quick little exercise you can do with anybody, even with family members. Listen, I asked Glenn a question. Then what did I do, Glenn? After I asked you the question and you told me, what did I do? Do you remember?
You bullied me.
Right. I repeated it. I repeated what you said so you felt heard.
Yes.
Okay. But then I also challenged you, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
To tell me when. Mm-hmm. Give me a time. Mm-hmm. So that made you think a little bit more. When do I have the time? And as you were trying to think of excuses, you found the time to be the weekend, which then when you thought about it, you're like, I am doing it. I'm doing it on the weekend. Yeah. Sometimes we don't even realize what we do when we do it, but you're like, oh, wait a minute. I've been doing that. I'm really good. Time to celebrate, dude.
Oh yeah.
Fist pump. Nobody get up. He did it. He didn't even realize it, but he's done it so much that he's promised that by this weekend, because you know, any of you that moving out of boxes and reorganizing your life is hard because you've got more than just one room to reorganize, especially when it comes to your office and you got a job that you work from home. So the fact that you're going to be done this weekend, and I know what you do.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you know me. You're these,
and you got a lot of work, and you have to, and your patience has to be. I could never do what you did because I'd actually go crazy. I could never sit that still. It's bad enough I'm sitting still now. You know, I'd like to walk outside. That's why Sunday you see me. I love recording after church. I love recording outside, and you know, if I could do more of that stuff, I'd love to. But I don't want to be a pain in the ass for everybody and always, you know, be on. I don't want to be Instagram famous or anything like that. I just love sharing shit.
Yeah, you also become white noise if you do too much of it.
Yeah.
If you do it over and over again, you start becoming.
But you know what cracks me up is, you know, I this kid who just got when I was watching the news, he was he crossed the border, right? And he got a cell phone, and he started a TikTok account. Had I don't know how many millions of followers, and he was telling them how to take advantage of crossing the border and all the free stuff they were given. Finally, they arrested this bastard. But
great,
he still has millions of followers. And here there are people who post some really great stuff. I mean, there's some great posts I see, and they get only a few likes. I'm not talking about me. I don't give a shit if you watch my show or not, or if you like me or don't like me. I'm just doing this because it helps me. It helps you. It helps everybody. You know, and the more we talk, the more we share, it helps each other out. But we're looking at this person who gets a million hits or millions of followers on how to scam. He goes to jail, still has followers. He even apologized and said, "I'm sorry. I was just trying to get out of jail." Right.
Yeah.
So, but those are the, you know, or somebody claims to be a woman that is a man, or somebody that claims to be a man that is a woman, or somebody claims to be a dog but is a cat, but it really is a pig. You know, here's the thing. I'm just saying, these crazy posts, people will, millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people follow them, but you never see, not all of them. There are great people out there doing great things, but it's funny how they'll get more of that following than following people who have great things to offer.
And why is that? Because of an algorithm. It's all because of the algorithm, because the TikTok algorithm favors the shit. It favors smut.
Yeah.
So that's why. So you make something that's really wholesome and it's really good. It's educational. The algorithm doesn't give a shit about that because they know that they appeal to the primitive side of everybody's mind. So when you look at any of the social media, that's why you see the majority of it's crap.
Well, I'm going to keep sharing my faith on Sundays and what I've learned in church that day, and hopefully share it with other people in 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, it, you know, a pastor or a preacher or anybody takes a lot longer, but I think I can sum out what meant the most important to me. Doing these podcasts on educational procrastination, finish what you start. And I mean, I don't know what the next one might be on, is taking action. You know, or it might be on ask for help.
You know, or Hunter Biden with a hooker.
I'm going to ask for help.
Or how to hide a dead hooker with Hunter Biden.
Yeah, exactly. In the closet.
That's chapter, or chapter 11.
I also want to start another podcast for youth ministry or youth inspiration. I mean, the youth could really use something to look forward to, some positive talk. I wish, you know, like I said, technology has its pros and its cons. The pros, you can reach a lot of people, but its cons is that sometimes you get caught up in the wrong things. And I just hope that all of you who are out there will get involved with the positive side of life. And if you're a parent, come on, you know, spend some time with your kids, see what they're doing online. Don't just because you're busy online. Here's what happens. A lot of you are too busy in your own world online that you forget about your own kids, your own family who are online and possibly, you know, going to fall into the wrong crowd or an abduction or run away with somebody that's a lot older, get tricked pretty much and probably get caught up in trafficking. I mean, there's so much you have to be careful with on the internet, and to be involved with your family and your kids and actually ask them what's going on. Have them show you technology. Have them show you some of the things that they go on or they visit because you're interested. You'll learn a lot, and maybe you can educate them along the way. Um, I don't know how better to say that than get involved. Get involved with your family. See what they're doing. Don't everybody puts a computer in a bedroom for their kids.
Don't give them a
I made that
phone.
mistake right at
Yeah.
the beginning, and I took them out of their bedroom real quick because
Yeah.
they were on sites they weren't supposed to be. Their boys.
Don't give them a
You know.
phone. Just don't give them a phone. Very simple.
Oh, my
No
no, my
phones.
girl will get a phone, but it'll only be able to dial emergency calls of families and the police.
Or flip phone.
Yeah, a flip phone.
That's
And
it.
it'll have a GPS, and nobody will know where that GPS is going to be in her backpack, in her clothes, in her earrings. You will not know. But I'll tell you what, it could be on her watch. But if anybody tries to take her, I'll find you and I'll get you. I'll be these. I'll find you and I'll kill you. I know who you are. Anyway, but this is it's not. I love my family, and I know you do too. I love protecting them and not being possessive of overbearing, but getting involved, helping them understand, even sharing the stuff that we're talking about, procrastination, this stuff that you're learning. This is the stuff they need to know about. I wish somebody would have took the time to explain that with me instead of just calling me stupid and a procrastinator, slapping me on the side of the head and sending me on my way. If they would have just spent some time to teach me the effects of what would happen if I keep procrastinating, and don't finish what I start. Now, I can honestly say, I think what also helped me is sports. One thing, I don't know maybe it was what my parents instilled in me, but when I was young, Pop Warner, I followed a kid with shoulder pads on. I thought it was cool. It was a friend of mine. He wouldn't tell me where he was going, but I didn't even know why he was wearing those pads. I didn't even know about what American football was. I followed him all the way to his practice field in Mount Pleasant, which was about maybe a mile away from my house. And I walked onto this field and I saw all these kids with pads. They were my age. And what was I? A peewee back then. I was a little guy. But I played football for 8 years. But here's the thing. I walked onto that field and the coach walked up to me. Well, it was some guy at the time. I didn't even know he was a coach. And he's like, "You want to play?" I'm watching these guys with all these pads throwing the ball around. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to play." He's like, "Okay, are you a lineman or a back?" I'm like, I didn't even know what a lineman was. I didn't even know soccer, didn't know football. I was a young man. We just played on the streets. I said, "I don't know." So he put me on the line and I said, "But I want shoulder pads." I didn't even know they were called shoulder pads. I said, "I want the uniforms they're wearing." He says, "Come for 2 weeks straight. And if you don't quit on me, I'll get you the set." Now, I was poor. You know that, Glenn. When we came to this country, I didn't have money. It's funny because all the kids had like the best, and they came from low income families too. It's not that they were rich either, but they had the tube socks, right? They had the pads over here that they could afford. They had sweatpants under their, because we played during the winter, so they had sweatpants under their football pants. And my coaches, my Pee-wee Pop Warner coach is still alive, Carmen DePolo. He was such a great guy, such a great mentor for kids. He he just looked at me one day because I didn't have spikes either. So I would show up in dress shoes, black socks over my pajamas, underneath my football pants when he finally gave me the uniform because I stuck with it. And he would like, "Hey, Veglio." I'd be like, "What?" He goes, "Are you going to bed after practice?" He would pick on me all the time. But here's the thing. No matter what it took, I showed up. And why other people quit, because most people quit like the beginning of the season, they'll quit right in the beginning because they don't want to run, they don't want to do the push-ups. I mean, who wants to do all that stuff?
Yeah,
right. I can sit home, take it easy. We didn't even have Game Boy back then. We had Atari, maybe. But the thing was, something told me you can't quit. And when I learned about team, it was supporting the team. It wasn't about me. It was about the team. If I leave, even though I was warming up the bench, I disappoint the team because I kept the bench warm for them. I got to play a couple times because I didn't know football. So I'll be honest, the first few years I sat the bench, But you know what? As a team member, I was there on the sideline rooting them on, cheering for them. I was a cheerleader in uniform. And I kept the bench really warm and I'd give them water, but that was teamwork. Somebody had to do that until I got my chance to play. And I said, I played for 8 years. I didn't grow. I didn't play for college. I didn't play for, NFL, but sports really taught me how to stick with something. And I think that planting of that seed stuck with me till this day. Even though I became a procrastinator later on, I know the importance of teamwork. I know the importance of sticking with something, which I have to say I stuck with here for 45 years. Even whether I did business and a whole bunch of other things, writing books and all that great stuff, I stuck with my profession. And people ask me till this day, what do you do? And I can sit there and say, I'm a CEO. I own businesses. I write books. I do platform work all over the world. I can go on and on. I say I'm a hairdresser. It's funny when they look at me, they're like, no, you're not. You got to be working for the mafia. So I said, no, I'm under witness protection program as a hairdresser. and they don't know what to think. But that was for me. I think that inspired me to stay with things. How long have we been talking here? I don't want to keep people on too long.
Hour and 10 minutes.
Well, I think you got anything less you want to.
No.
Anything else you want to talk about? I was going to hit about being on purpose today, but time is running out, and we want to respect people's time, so we can cut out some of the stupidness that we fell into, or some of the words I couldn't pronounce today.
That's okay. It's
and we can cut down the time. But at the end of every chapter, Glenn, you drew the illustrations for me. I give a gift, and on finish the first one on procrastination. The gift was, if you failed to prepare to fail. That was a quote that we left. And to finish on what you started, and I'm going through the manuscript of the book right now. The gift on that was, for the blind man. Okay. The gift on that was, it's not how fast you get to the finish line. It's how you get to the finish line. So remember, it's not how fast you get to the finish line. It's that you get to the finish line. That's more important. So don't worry about getting there quickly. Just worry about, just get there. Right. And don't do it alone. Grab hands with everybody that's running with you and cross the finish line together. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks to Glenn and everybody for all their time that they waste on me. And thank you for taking an hour out of your life and having to listen to me. God bless you all. Talk to you soon. See you next week.